euro breaks out of 6 weeks range. What next though? Hi, it's Charlie giving you your midweek video, and I've been down in London today, so I've been out all day. It's what, 5:10 now, and we obviously it was the big news day today with those inflation figures, which I think the inflation figures came in. I think there was a slight beat actually on the monthlies, but they came in line on the year on year, and what we've seen, as we can see here, is the euro dollar has finally broken this sort of 6 week range that it's been in, and so. What next? So I think the first thing is we can see very obviously I've got this old trend line here, which is a lovely trend line on my chart here. So it is at an around trend line resistance. Don't think for 1 minute that just because it's all above it at the moment, then that's a definite means, oh, it's cleared it, because like with anything in trading, it's never quite an exact science. However, it's my view that now we have broken up, that we should continue to breach this. And so where to next? So what we actually need to do is go to the higher time frame a bit anyway. So because we're seeing this move across the board, we're seeing New Zealand dollars had a good day today. So after really having to think about it for the last few days and finally getting that confirmation up, likewise with the Aussie. So all of the currencies against the dollar's really obviously off, and I can't see much reason in the absolute near future, in the coming days, why this would just completely all collapse straight back over. So I think that if any pullbacks we do get are really should be sort of buying opportunities. And so if we go back to and even the same with the pound dollar as well, and of course we should have a look at gold. So everything's up. I haven't looked at gold actually. Yeah, gold's marginally up. Now gold is against this trend line resistance, but again I should expect a breakout here at some point and a break through this trend line and a strong close for it. So again, I've turned bullish on gold. I've been sitting out of it, and I'm not in it at the moment, but I've not been interested in it until it gave us a clear sign, and it looks like now we could well be getting at. Not yet based on where it's at, but if we get a strong close, then that will be coming as well. So back to the euro dollar. I'm not going to go into all the fundamentals of the reasons why the dollar's on the retreat, because I'm just here to go through the technicals really. But we can talk about real yields. We can talk about are we at peak inflation? We can talk about how although the Fed are going to be hiking rates this year, that so much of that is already priced in, and that's another reason why. And we can look at the reasons why the euro and other currencies are progressing against the dollar. But anyway, let's just look at it technically. So what we need to do is go out to the higher time frames here, and really, for me, it's my weekly 20 moving average. Now, bearing in mind, I use simple moving averages, not exponential, so I use simples. So my weekly simple 20 is up around literally just a bit above 115. We're currently at 114.33. So there is scope for more upside, certainly to that. I'm not saying that it has to stop at that when it gets there, because I'm pretty sure it looks like it's tipped its hat now. So it looks very much likely that we're going to have at least a run for there. Now, what we will have is these old lows up here and this congestion period here to look at as well once we start getting into that sort of zone. I think that the one thing to note is that we are still very much in a downwards trend on the weekly chart. So if we do get up to that 20, I'm not saying it literally will hit that and then regret and then come straight off, but certainly once we get into that zone, and it could easily get like I said, beyond that, but once we get into that zone, bearing in mind by the I'm recording this Wednesday. By the end of the week, if we're still not there by the end of the week, then we're going into next week, and that moving average will be down at about 114.80 by next week. So it is coming down. But I'd certainly be looking at that in that area to see if there are signs of weakness at some point coming in. I can't see signs of weakness coming in straight away. I think that we've got this price excuse me, momentum now across the board excuse me, against the dollar. But we do have the Federal Reserve meeting coming up on the 26th of January, so it's still a couple of weeks away. So I'm not really expecting, too much weakness in the grand scheme of things until maybe we'll see what happens on the back of that FOMC. So in the near term, I'm looking at the euro. It doesn't matter if I'm looking at euro or pound. In the bigger picture, they look like they've got more upside to come. And for the euro dollar, we've got this trend channel, yes. And don't get me wrong, we could have a reaction. If I go back to the daily chart, we could have a reaction at some point to this trend channel. Even though we're breaking it at the moment, we could easily still have a bit of a pullback. But until proven otherwise, I think that until we get to that, at least until that weekly 20, then pullbacks should be opportunities to buy. That's how I'm seeing that now. But don't get me wrong, we could easily pull back a bit tomorrow and the day after and consolidate a little bit along this trend line. But I'd still like to see price retrace to that weekly 20. In fact, one thing to bear in mind, in the entire history of the euro on the weekly chart, there's only ever been one instance when the euro has taken like a year to retrace to its weekly 20. All other instances have been less than a year, usually within about 6 or 7 months. Funnily enough, since price broke down through the 20, we're on around about 6 months or so right now. Take care for now. Give us a thumbs up if you like the videos. If you want to add any comments, as always, by all means do so. And I'll see you in time for Saturday.